psycho ass. What is it all about? Let us tell you. The synopsis is it's based in a futuristic Japan. It is a dystopia, yeah. And so the citizens of this society are run by the civil system, which pretty much like monitors everyone around the city using these scanners. They take like this crime coefficient of everyone, which tells you whether your propensity to commit crime, right?
Yeah.
And if it's above a certain threshold, well,
They send the cops after you.
Yeah, the cops, which is our main characters, right?
Yeah.
They come in and then they handle you, right? And they put you away to get treated. They give you some therapy. So this is how society runs in this world.
And that's how we explore this world.
That's how we explore it. And,
Through the eyes of Akane Tsunemori.
Akane Fuminori, yes. Well, of course, like it's Urobuchi.
Yeah.
So you don't have like your standard plot. Should humans be governed by a system based on like whether they are going to commit crime or not? Are you really free? So that's a pretty deep plot. However, there are some things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I thought the pacing was a little too slow burn for me.
Yeah, it's like 24 episodes, so obviously it's dragged out.
I know.
Compared to Madoka, it's like half the length.
Madoka just does so many things right. If they were to have like condensed those episodes into 12, wow. It would have just done so much better for me. But those first 12 episodes, they were kind of hard for me to watch. Like it's like, come on, when does it get to the good stuff? Come on, like I know it's getting there.
It's like when you have erectile dysfunction and you feel that it's coming, but it never comes.
Come on! That's a good analogy. I give it an above average on the story, 8 out of 10. What about you?
What I noticed when I watched the show the first time is that I feel like Urobuchi who draw inspiration from American police and the use of guns. Instead of having police like randomly shooting people with guns indiscriminately, they have those dominators. If the person is not a criminal, then it's gonna get locked. You cannot shoot them like the way you want it. That's a good thing. Speaking of gun, I don't like how talkative this gun is.
Talk so slow.
Yeah, it's just like over and over and over. I feel like the way they should do it is just point it, and then if it works, then it's gonna be like it has like a green light.
Yeah,
if it doesn't work, red light.
Yeah,
That's all we need to know.
Yeah, that would have been way better.
And sometimes we have too much like poems and literature, like in episode 8, we just have like shot of Makishima just literally like reciting poems. So like, who cares, man? I can read that books on my own, okay?
It's because Urobuchi's trying to tell you that he's a Shakespeare fan.
This is basically a conflict. It's a fight between order, which is the civil system, and chaos, also known as Makishima. So it's not about, there's no clear line about good or evil. It's about picking which is the lesser evil, and in this case the lesser evil is the civil system. Society, in my opinion, definitely need laws and orders, even despite its flaws. The way it works is that it made it so that it keep the society functional regardless of individual free will, in which Makishima strongly believed in. So sometimes, freedom may not be there in order to have law and order. The story is a good 9 over 10 for me. It's a good story, which is unnecessarily dragged out.
I think the characters are pretty average. I have kind of like a big problem with Akane.
Is it her haircut?
Oh, it's not her haircut, it's her nose, man. And I ain't kidding about that one. Remember when you talked about the spiky nose in Kimetsu no Yaiba?
The only weird thing that I noticed about the art, the tip of the nose is like this, like Pinocchio.
Since you mentioned it, I started paying more attention to the nose. I'm like, damn you, man, why did you mention the noses? What I didn't like about her character is that there's no development for like the first 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And episode 13, I think it's finally she does something pretty cool.
Independent thinking.
No, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to go under this procedure that may raise my crime coefficient, but I don't care because it's going to develop a picture of the guy who killed my friend.
Yeah.
That was such a huge boost for me. I was like, finally, but did it have to take 13 episodes? Come on, like I know she's a trainee, But damn, man, 13 episodes, Jesus. The other character, Cole, I felt like he had so much potential, but I feel like the character just isn't really, he's not really like the main character. It seems like he's almost like a secondary character.
Well, I wish he is.
Which he is, right? But I wish there was just more of him. The villain was kind of cool, but again, I feel like his like resolution was like, I didn't like his resolution. Yeah, so I give the characters an average. I give it a 7 out of 10.
Yaiba and Shion, I feel like they're not that necessary for the plot, at least for this season. The other thing that I noticed, it's just really random, but in my mind, like when they do have, that lesbian relationship, it was like, I always think about how bad Shion's breath must be because how frequently she smoked. Like, girl, you hot, but cut out the smoking, That make me feel kind of bad for Yayoi, when they do a little kissing and all, like close contacts. Ooh, nasty. You talk a lot about Akane, but for me, the star of the show are right here. It's about Makishima and Kogami. They are the stars. And another pet peeve that I have is this guy, he's so competent. Like, he's the only one in the whole office who knows what's going on. Like, every single episode, he's the one who noticed something's going on. Like, the rest of them, what's going on? He starts to give the explanation, and everyone is like, oh, yeah, how come I didn't think about that? So, that's the main problem. He made this guy too good.
But then, it's interesting you mention that because he is very good, but what about the deeper level? He's completely oblivious about it.
What do you mean?
Like the whole Sybil system, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's completely always like in the dark about that. I don't even think he gives a shit.
Yeah, he doesn't
he's
care.
Just straight like on the superficial level.
Oh.
But then Akane actually finds out like the deeper level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's a rogue.
He wants revenge.
He's a rogue. He reminds me of like Dirty Harry.
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Yeah. He's a very like Clint Eastwood like character.
Yeah. I give it an average score, 7 over 10, but I give a +1 for Makishima and Kogami. They are very good characters. Especially Makishima. He's not quite evil. Like, I think he really represents America very well.
Yeah.
Like, in another different world, he may be an ideal American citizen.
Very interesting.
Considering how he loved freedom a lot. How you like the art?
Yeah, I found it average. There were some scenes that were very like pleasing to the eye. Not very many. You know, one of the last episode, there was a cool scene with the field and whatnot. That was cool. I didn't like the fight scenes very much. I don't know whether it was like their use of the weapon choice that made it kind of lame. Knife, man. Barber knife? Alright,
Barber knife?
Okay.
He killed someone with a barber knife. What are you talking about? Remember, he slashed Akane's friend's throat with that. Don't underestimate a barber knife, guys.
Spoiler! Yeah, that was pretty crazy. 7 out of 10.
I'm sure most of you already noticed how familiar the art is because it's done by the Hitman Reborn artist. That guy, he's really good at drawing like bishis, hot guys like these. But when it comes to like hot females, he's really bad at it, as evidenced by Akane's terrible haircut. I like the gore. The gore is really on point. Like you said, a lot of the fighting is just static and it's not that pleasing to the eyes. I give it a 6 over 10. Like, we have like bishis everywhere, but the background art and the fighting scenes leave a lot to be desired. Like, how do you like the music?
Average. Give it a 7 out of 10. Nothing really stood out for me. I think it did well for its purpose.
I do enjoy some BGM, like especially in episode 8 when I get to the disposal plan. That tune is kind of reminiscent of Saya no Uta with how sinister it was. For me, same, 7 over 10 as well. Let's talk about the overall.
Yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10. If you're kind of like a crime drama type of person, if that's your genre, I think you're really going to enjoy this. It's got some slow burn in there too, which I'm not a big fan of. If you dig those elements, you're going to dig. I think you're going to enjoy it much more than I did.
For me, it's very similar. It's 7.5 over 10. Lovely story, but the other aspect are simply too mediocre. Which is kind of like the opposite of Kimetsu, that has like very good production value, but a non-existent story. So it's the opposite. I always wish that if this show has the direction done by Shaft and Shinbo, and the art done by UFO Table, then I can only dream about how much better this actually could be. Because it's a wonderful show. It has good story, like decent, very good, like main characters. It's a waste.
Yeah. It's a waste of Ken Urobuchi's talent, right? Yeah.
So yeah, let me know what you think, and let us know which is your favorite Urobuchi work. And once again, thank you for watching. See you guys next time.
俺の顔になんかついてるのか？
いや別に